You can have a perfect 800 credit score and still get turned down for a mortgage. It happens all the time, and the reason usually comes down to one number most people have never calculated: your debt-to-income ratio. Lenders quietly trust this number more than almost anything else, including your credit score. It's the single best measure of whether you can actually afford to borrow more. And if it's too high, no credit score on earth will save your application. The good news, it's simple to calculate and you can improve it faster than a credit score. Today we break down exactly what your debt-to-income ratio is, why lenders obsess over it, and how to get yours into the safe zone. Let's follow the money. I'm Don Blake, and this is USAFinance, where we hand you everything you need to get, keep, and grow your money with nothing but sourced facts and plain English. This is education, not advice. We're not going to tell you how much to borrow. We're going to show you the number lenders use to decide, so you walk into any loan application knowing exactly where you stand. Why does this matter so much? Because your debt-to-income ratio decides whether you get approved for a house, a car, or a loan, and at what rate. Miss it, and the best rate in the world isn't available to you. Every number comes from the CFPB, HUD, and Fannie Mae. Let's get into it. So what is a debt-to-income ratio? The name actually tells you everything. It's your debt divided by your income, specifically your total monthly debt payments divided by your gross monthly income, written as a percentage. Gross monthly income means what you earn before taxes and deductions. Monthly debt payments means the required minimums on everything you owe. We'll get specific in a minute. So if a third of your income goes to debt payments, your debt-to-income ratio is 33%. If half goes to debt, it's 50%. That's it. One simple fraction. But that one fraction tells a lender more about your financial health than almost anything else on your application. Here's why they care so much. Here's the key insight most people miss. Your credit score and your debt-to-income ratio measure two completely different things. Your credit score measures your history, how reliably you've paid in the past. It's about your willingness and track record. Important but backward-looking. Your debt-to-income ratio measures your capacity, how much room you actually have in your budget to take on a new payment right now. It's forward-looking, and it answers the question a lender cares about most. Can this person realistically afford this loan? That's why a lender may care about your debt-to-income ratio even more than your score. A great score says you pay your bills. A low ratio says you can afford to keep paying them. Both matter, but capacity is what stops a default. Let's calculate it because it's genuinely simple. 2 steps. Step 1. Add up all your required monthly debt payments. That's your rent or mortgage, your minimum credit card payments, car loans, student loans, personal loans, the required minimums, not what you could pay. Step 2. Divide that total by your gross monthly income, your income before taxes. Multiply by 100 to get a percentage. So if your debts total $2,000 a month and you earn $6,000 a month before taxes, that's $2,000 divided by $6,000, about 33%. You can do this in 2 minutes with a calculator and your last pay stub. And you absolutely should before you ever apply for anything. Now, what actually counts as debt in this calculation? This trips people up, so let's be precise. Lenders include the required monthly payments on your housing, rent or mortgage, plus property taxes and insurance if you own, your car loans or leases, your student loans, your minimum credit card payments, any personal loans, and court-ordered payments like child support or alimony. Notice the theme. These are contractual obligations. Money you're legally required to pay every month to a lender or the court. The number they use for credit cards is the minimum payment, not your full balance. So carrying big balances quietly inflates your ratio, even if you always pay them off. Which brings us to what does not count. Here's the good news. A lot of your monthly spending does not count against your debt-to-income ratio. Your utilities don't count. Electricity, water, gas, your phone bill and internet don't count. Groceries don't count. Health insurance, car insurance, and most other insurance premiums don't count. Streaming subscriptions, gym memberships, and everyday spending don't count. Why? Because none of these are debts. They're expenses. A lender's ratio is measuring your obligations to creditors, not your entire cost of living. This is important because it means your ratio can look healthy even if your budget feels tight, or the reverse. Two people with the same income can have very different ratios depending only on how much debt they carry. Let's see a full example. Let's run a real one. Meet a household earning $6,000 a month before taxes. Their monthly debt payments look like this: a $1,400 rent payment, a $400 car loan, a $200 student loan payment, and $100 in minimum credit card payments. Add those up and it's $2,100 a month in debt. 2,100 divided by 6,000 is 35%. So their debt-to-income ratio is 35%. Is that good? By most standards, yes. It's in a healthy range, which we'll map out next. But notice how quickly it moves. Add a bigger car payment, and that same household could jump to 45% and into a whole different lending category. Now a wrinkle that matters when you're buying a home. There are actually two debt-to-income ratios, and lenders look at both. The first is your front-end ratio, sometimes called the housing ratio. It's just your housing cost divided by your income. How much of your paycheck goes to keeping a roof over your head? The second is your back-end ratio, the one we've been calculating. It's all your debt payments, housing plus everything else divided by your income. The back-end ratio is the big one lenders focus on because it captures your full obligation. But the front end matters too. A lender wants to see that your housing alone isn't eating your budget. Both have well-known target numbers. Those targets come from a classic guideline you should know, the 28-36 rule. It says two things. First, your housing costs, your front-end ratio, should ideally stay at or below 28% of your gross income. Second, your total debt, your back-end ratio, should stay at or below 36%. 28 for housing, 36 for everything. It's the conservative gold standard that lenders and financial planners have used for decades because households that stay inside it rarely get into trouble. Now, plenty of people borrow above these numbers, and plenty of loans allow it. But if you want a comfortable, low-stress financial life, the 28-36 rule is a genuinely great target to aim for. Beyond the conservative target, there's a critical line to know, 43%. For years, 43% was the ceiling built into the rules for what's called a qualified mortgage, the standard that protects both you and the lender. Above 43% total debt to income, loans became harder to approve and in many cases off the table. The rules have evolved and lenders now weigh more factors, but 43% remains a powerful benchmark in the industry. Think of it as the edge of the comfort zone. Under it, you have options. Push above it and your choices narrow, your rates can rise, and some doors simply close. So 36 is the target and 43 is the warning line. Different loans, though, draw that line in different places. Let's talk limits by loan type, because they're not all the same. Conventional loans, the standard ones backed by Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, generally look for a total debt-to-income ratio up to about 45% and can stretch to around 50% for strong borrowers with good credit and savings. FHA loans, which are government-backed and friendlier to first-time buyers, are often more flexible. The classic guideline is 31% for housing and 43% total, but with compensating factors like solid savings or a high credit score, automated systems can approve well into the 50s. So the exact ceiling depends on the loan, but the pattern holds everywhere. The lower your ratio, the more options and better rates you unlock. Let's put it all together into a simple health scale for your debt-to-income ratio. Under 36%, you're in great shape. Lenders love you, and you'll have the widest choice of loans and the best rates. 36 to 43%, still okay and financeable, but you're leaving the comfort zone. Rates may tick up, 43 to 50%, strained. You can sometimes still borrow, but your options are narrowing and your budget has little margin. And over 50%, this is the danger zone. Half your income or more is already committed to debt before you've bought a single thing. Most lenders will say no, and honestly, they're protecting you. Let's settle the great confusion head on. Debt to income versus credit score. Which one wins? Neither, because they're not competing. They're two different gates you have to pass through. Your credit score gets you the door. Your debt to income ratio decides whether you can walk through it. Here's the part that shocks people. Your debt-to-income ratio is not part of your credit score. Your score doesn't even know your income, so you can have a spotless 800 score, a high ratio, and still get denied, because the score says you pay well, but the ratio says you can't afford more. The takeaway: build your score and manage your ratio. A great loan needs both, and here's why keeping your ratio low matters even when you're not applying for anything. A high debt-to-income ratio doesn't just hurt loan approvals. It means your life is financially fragile. When half your income is already spoken for, you have almost no margin. One surprise, a car repair, a medical bill, a lost shift, and you're reaching for a credit card, which pushes the ratio even higher. A low ratio is the opposite. It's breathing room. It's the ability to absorb a shock, to save, to say yes to an opportunity, to sleep at night. So your debt-to-income ratio isn't just a lending number. It's a real-time readout of how much financial freedom you actually have. So how do you improve it? There are only two levels levers, and this is the first. Shrink the debt side. Pay down the debts with the biggest monthly payments relative to their balance, often credit cards and sometimes a car loan. Because your ratio counts the monthly payment, eliminating a payment entirely helps more than you'd think. Paying off a small loan that costs you $300 a month can drop your ratio by several points immediately. So can knocking out a credit card so its minimum disappears. And be strategic. Attacking the debts with the highest payments does the most for your ratio fast. This is the lever most people reach for, and for good reason. It works, and you control it. The second lever is the one people forget. Grow the income side. Your ratio is a fraction. Debt on top, income on the bottom. Raising your gross income shrinks the whole ratio without you paying off a single dollar of debt. A raise, a promotion, a documented side income, overtime, a working spouse's income added to the application, all of it enlarges the denominator and pulls your ratio down. Lenders generally want to see that income is stable and can be documented, usually over about 2 years, so a steady side gig can genuinely count. So you have two ways in: less debt or more income. The strongest move is to do both, and it compounds faster than you'd expect. Now, the mistake that quietly wrecks mortgage approvals, and it's heartbreaking because it's so avoidable. Do not take on new debt right before you apply for a big loan. The classic disaster: someone is about to buy a house and they finance a new car. That $400, $500, $600 car payment slams straight into their debt-to-income ratio, pushes it over the line, and the mortgage falls apart, sometimes days before closing. Lenders check your ratio again right before you close. So in the months before a major loan, the rule is simple. Don't open new credit cards, don't finance a car, don't co-sign anything. Keep your ratio frozen and let the approval sail through. So here's your action step, and it costs nothing. Calculate your ratio today before any lender ever does it for you. Add up your required monthly debt payments. Divide by your gross monthly income. That percentage is the number a lender will judge you by. So there's real power in knowing it first. If it's under 36%, you're in a strong position. If it's creeping toward 43, you know exactly what to work on before you apply. And if it's above 50, you've just found the most important financial project in your life. Knowing your number turns a scary, mysterious approval process into something you can plan for and control. That's the whole point. Let's turn this into a plan. First, the do's. General principles, not personalized advice. Do calculate your debt-to-income ratio before you apply for anything. Know your number cold. Do aim for the 28-36 rule. Housing under 28%, total debt under 36. Do attack your highest monthly payments first when you want to lower it fast. And do look for documented ways to raise your income. And in the months before a big loan, do keep your ratio frozen. No new debt. Do those things, and you walk into any lender's office already knowing the answer. The people who get approved smoothly are simply the people who manage this number on purpose. Now the don'ts, and where good borrowers trip. Don't confuse a great credit score with being approved. A high ratio can sink you anyway. Don't finance a car, open cards, or co-sign in the months before a mortgage. You can wreck the deal at the last minute. Don't ignore your ratio just because you're not borrowing today. It's a live measure of your financial cushion. And don't count income you can't document. Lenders want a paper trail, usually a couple of years. Finally, don't panic if your number is high right now. Unlike some things in finance, this one you can move, and often faster than you think, with a clear plan. Let's recap by the numbers. Your debt-to-income ratio is your total monthly debt payments divided by your gross monthly income. The targets: the 28-36 rule, housing under 28%, total debt under 36. 43% is the classic warning line. Conventional loans stretch to around 45 or 50%, and FHA can go into the 50s with strong compensating factors. Over 50% is the danger zone. Remember the big idea. Your credit score measures how you've paid. Your debt-to-income ratio measures whether you can afford to keep paying. It's not part of your score, and lenders often weigh it more. Two levers move it: less debt or more income. Here's the real takeaway. Your debt-to-income ratio is the quiet number that decides whether the financial doors open or stay shut. For a home, a car, a better rate, and a life with real breathing room. And unlike so much in money, it's a number you can actually control. At USAFinance, that's the whole mission. Hand you what you need to get, keep, and grow your money. Sourced in plain English, never advice. If this made a confusing number simple, subscribe. It's free, and it's how we keep going. And next time, we tackle the emergency fund. How much you really need, where to keep it, and how to build one from nothing. I'm Don Blake. Make your money work. We'll see you next time.